This bee wants to be in this video. You gotta pay me some royalties, man. What's going on, everyone? It's Kevin from Solopreneur, and I haven't done this in a little while, so wanted to make an unscripted video just talking about a really important topic, and that is the topic of staying motivated as an entrepreneur. And I want to, and what I'm going to share here really centers around the importance of belief. So when you're starting out a new business, right, we've all been there, whether that's you find out about this new model, right, this new business model, whether it's like affiliate marketing you're hearing about, or whether it's network marketing, or maybe you're hearing about e-commerce or something, and you're reading about it or you're watching a YouTube video or whatever it is, and you're so pumped up about it. But that motivation is often fleeting, right? And you get to this point where you start working on the business. Many actually don't even get to start, working on the business, right? So if you actually even just get started, you're better than most people. Most people have zero intrinsic motivation or any motivation. They just like to, just dream about stuff and never actually do anything. But even if you're one of the few people who actually even get started, oftentimes you're in this moment of crossing the chasm, as I call it, right? So this is before you've made any money. You don't know if it's going to work for you. You don't know. You don't believe, right? Like it's like starting out on a weight loss program. Like, you read about this new program and how it's going to work for you, but in the back of your mind, you're not sure it's going to happen. And this is the problem why so many people fail. It's because they don't believe. Now, I was reading an interesting book, and they were talking about the reason why Alcoholics Anonymous works. And one of the reasons why it works, aside from the habit forming, and I'll get into that another time, but one of the reasons it works is because it is a community. It is a community where people are coming together, and you get to hear stories of other people where this worked for them. So that belief is constantly reinforced because you're always coming to these meetings. I've never been in AA. No judging, but just as what I read, but no judgment. But I'm just saying what I've read is, you come to these meetings like 90 days for every day for 90 days. And so basically the belief is really getting reinforced, and that's why it's easy to stay motivated, because you buy into the program, you buy into it. And as an entrepreneur, it's really hard, getting back to the entrepreneurship angle, until you start making sales. It's a huge leap of faith, right? You don't know if this is going to work for you, and this is why so many people quit when they first get started. It's because they don't see any sales, and their motivation just starts to dwindle because they don't believe that the program or the approach they're taking is going to work for them, because they don't have a sounding board, or they don't have maybe a community they're part of. Now, I'm not saying that joining a community, if you pick up what I'm putting down, joining another entrepreneurship community is the only way to do this. I mean, there are other ways, right? If you have co-founders, then you can always bounce ideas off each other, and you're not the only one rowing this way. So, that's one other way to sort of instill this belief and keep the hope alive, and just reinforce that. But it's also like I just mentioned MLM, right? So MLM or network marketing. Some call them pyramid schemes. Not all of them are, but it's another conversation. But it's less about the potions, pills, or financial product or whatever thing you're selling. It's more about when you're recruiting people. It's about that, the most successful network marketers are the ones that build that sisterhood or brotherhood, right? Where it's like the person starting out and they're joining your team or whatever it is. And it's more about the fact that they're not in it alone. They see the successful person in that model that they can model off of, right? That they're saying, hey, this person's driving the, S-Class Mercedes. They got this, they got that, they're really successful. And so this is the program. Whoa, this bee's trying to kill me, man. Yeah, minor interruption. Oh, get the hell out of here. But yeah, so the S-Class Mercedes, or they're driving that, and it's like you can model that. You have something that makes you believe that it's gonna work, right? Just like the weight loss, right? That's why they show you those photos, right? These 20 people lost 100 pounds doing X program, right? It's just to instill that belief. I'm all over the place a little bit, but the point I'm making is, whatever you are, whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, it's super important to find something that's going to make you believe, right? So whether that's joining a community, whether that's, the other ways you can hire a coach, which I don't really recommend if you're just getting started, because many times, right, maybe you don't have the income for that, but that's one option. You have some accountability there, right? So hire a coach, you join a community, maybe you find some co-founders, but the point is, until you start making some money, if you need it, then, don't put it all on yourself to stay motivated, right? Just join a community where you're all rowing in the same direction, and that's really just going to keep you motivated. And lastly, I'll say, for someone like me who's done this a lot, where I've done so many different businesses, I'm a little bit more intrinsically and self-motivated, because I know that I can bet on myself. Like, I believe that I can do it because I've done it so many times. So eventually, I'm not saying that to pump myself up, I'm just saying eventually you're going to get to the point as you become a more seasoned entrepreneur where you might need a little less of that. But even me, like, I've done this for 12 years now, and I still, sometimes I find myself down in the dumps. Sometimes I, start something new and I'm like, man, is this going to work out? Am I wasting my time? I've talked about my failures a lot. So, obviously I still fail, and that's the hallmark of an entrepreneur, right? You just try a lot of different things, quickly test the market. But yeah, so just a bit of a tangent there. But essentially, to summarize, when you're starting out on a business, staying motivated can be extremely challenging. This bee wants to be in this video. You gotta pay me some royalties, man. So just really distracting, this bee. But like I was saying, right? So when you're starting out, you want to stay motivated, and one of the best ways to do that is to, especially when you're not sure in the heart of hearts, right? Deep down, you don't know if you have the skills to do it. Maybe you don't know if the model works. There's so many doubts, right? Maybe you have other people, negative people, who think you can't do it, and those are your influences. And many people have people who say, oh, no, man, that's not going to work, because they can't do anything, so they want to put you down. So it's really important to find your source of belief, whether that's staying motivated by reading stories and inspirational things, if that's like a solo activity you enjoy doing, or reading books, or finding a one-on-one coach, or if it's joining a community, or something like that, whether that's a Facebook group, or like I said in the example of like MLM, if it's finding a community of other people who are doing the same thing and share tactics or whatnot. But yeah, so just a really quick video, and I hope that helps you stay motivated in whatever you're working on.